All right. Enough to get YouTube. Oh, that's not. Boy, do. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm jumping right back into MiniMQTT PR, which I talked about a little bit earlier this morning before the meeting. I am going to basically just validate that the samples are all still working, and then just double check some reference on ports and see if, oh yeah, we were here before, 113. MiniMQTT. So 8883 and 1883. Modified. So this may be a bit more depth than what I need. I'm hopefully looking for like unsecured. Here we go. For 103 is commonly used for unsecured. This is from 2019 at least. Commonly used for unsecured. Has nothing to do with your router. Okay. UTT over SSL is commonly run on. Okay. They're the same two ports we saw before. So back to the analogy with HTTP, it sounds like 8883 is to, 443 in HTTP land, and 1883 is to port 80 in HTTP land. Well, let's check this out locally. What was the value of that? Was it backwards before? Probably not, right? Oh yeah, WizNet person commented back as well. file is this in? Just MiniMQTT. Oh, is this a one? This might be a one file one. Oh no, it's a directory. Just has one that's the same name. So what's the constant MQTT TLS port? MQTT TLS. Click this. 883. Okay. It used to just check if the port was 883. If so, then it would use the secure socket. And if not, then it wouldn't. And now we have a separate Boolean that can be true or false, and you can use whatever you want on whichever port you want. And so I do see it is, I guess, the remaining odd behavior, I guess, would be the fact that if you do port 1883, it will attempt to use SSL by default because it does default to true in the code. I think that that's fine, though. I think as long as the I guess all the examples run. I think it's fine to default to SSL true, and then people need to set it to false. Even on port 1883, I can see a case for like there being a special logic for that one port to be like this one is the one where it defaults the other way, but I think personally I kind of land on the side of just always default to true, and then if you are using that port and you then you just flip it to false in the initializer. I think that's fine. Is there, which port number do we use by default, I wonder? What if you, or is there like, you don't specify a port? Is that possible? Port none. So somewhere in here, I guess it's probably checking if it was not. Oh, right, okay, yeah, set the _1. Okay, so if you don't specify a port at all, you're gonna get the TLS port because this will be true. This will set it to that. This will not have anything. Therefore, it will not change it here, so it will stay to this. Is that different from today? Well, we have origin as the name of this. I don't think that logic is different. If I understand right, the actual logic of which one it's defaulted to is the same, and then the difference is just that it's only based on the port. It's not its own separate Boolean. This one, port here, but we have no, what does have is this? Maybe that just wasn't being used, I guess. It does it here. It says if true, then to that port. But it doesn't set the, oh, okay, I see the crux of it is it doesn't set the Boolean here. There's nothing, we didn't save a Boolean, so like we set, if this is true, then this port gets set here. And then like, let's say that you changed it to use a different port, 73 or whatever. You put it here, and now that's going to override this, which then means later on, probably another place where we are making that kind of comparison. What? This is where it was. So if the port is equal to that, we're inside of get socket connection, which got past whatever port we were on. Yeah. The new Boolean basically allows us to use any other port. The current implementation, if you try to use another port for SSL, doesn't end up working because the logic is based on the port number, and it only looks for the one port number, 8883. So I guess the behavior is default. I mean, the default behavior is different for when you default behavior. Well, yeah, the default behavior is different, but the difference is good because today the default behavior would be like, I mean, if you actually have none, then port will end up being 8883 and you will use SSL. So the default is to use SSL and to use port 8883. On the current version, if you were to specify 1883, for instance, but don't specify this, then it's defaulted to true. You might think you're going to get SSL, even though it's kind of contradictory to do it on that port, but whatever. It's actually the TCP port. But if it was 1883, then you would set it back here, and you would not be using SSL, even though is SSL is true. Current behavior, I think, is contradictory anyway. You have that thing set to true, you could be in a case where it's not actually using SSL. I don't think it's great, so I'm really on board with the new defaults better. The defaults do change a little bit depending on what you passed in. Default behavior, I should say, changed based on what you pass in. The defaults, I think, are all the same. The core, like, actual default, you didn't pass anything at all, is the same in both cases, I believe. You get 8883. And in both cases, you have SSL on. That actual, like, didn't pass anything, it's all the same. Let's get the, I think we want feather. Oh. Okay, I gotta check on some stuff. The old secrets pie over here. Need a broker port. Then, in our case, we're looking at AIO, so we got AIO. Default, it's actually going port 1883 in my case. So we'll try it. We'll try it like that, and then I want to try actually changing that around, or just not passing it in, maybe. Repeated socket failures. Failed SSL handshake. So we are in the case where our isSSL actually is wrong. Because it is 1883. Keep that actually. Okay. So for one thing, I do think we will want to change simple test. Because right now the way simple test is written, along with the way that it tells you to put this stuff in here, won't actually work. Really? Oh. Have is SSL the underscore one. If it's false, it doesn't allow it to get set. I think we do it this way, right? This way it will set it whatever the user put. Oh, where'd it go? I lost it. There it is. Set it to whatever the user put. Or maybe we do want the... Well, actually, either way we need this, I think. I think we do need this either way. Do we? Maybe not, actually. I guess I was going to say maybe it is worth making the change of 1883 specifically. Oh. Able to create a backup file. We're out of space, probably. Not really. I don't know if that actually saved or not. Didn't rerun? I don't think that saved. I think it's gonna save though. Like it's. It still didn't work. Oh boy. Was our storage corrupted or are we just out of space? Kind of pretty much just out of space. 33K. I don't really get that much back. I don't know why the chart seems broken. Net display layout. We could delete both of those for now. LED animation, image load. ISFL, we have 2 copies of that. Maybe worth getting rid of one of those. We should have enough to do what we need now, though, I think. Oh, we're like half and half. Yeah, I don't know. This is like the colors are broken or something. There's not really an empty part of that pie graph. Back failure. Test topic, so I probably don't have right thing set up. Maybe. Yeah. If I recall correctly, I have too many and I have to delete these, so let's go this one. Oh, it's already disabled. Oh wait, it's already disabled. Oh. I delete it? Like it. Oh, delete feed. Table. Delete. Feed. Name. Where do you put the key? Topic. Test/topic. Oh, but ours is always... Yeah, gotta read the comments. Got to read the comments. Honestly, I think we should probably have this one well, yeah, I think we should have this one uncommented because the... Oops. If you follow along with the Learn Guide, it should have this example in it. You will have to change it. That one's username, then feeds test topic. So in our case, the left half is the username and everything after is the actual name. Nice. It's the data that I put in. Okay, BRB. Actually, I need the print. I think I've come back around to the other way on 1883. I think we should just default 1883 to, if you set that port, then is SSL effectively defaults to false. Maybe we could just raise an exception. No, I think yeah, I think it. Maybe we could raise an exception if you use port 1883 and is SSL is true. Should we just disallow it? I don't know. I think I swing back around to it. Just should default to is SSL false for that port, since that's the accepted use for it, and most specifically so that the examples can work with Adafruit.io, which is where the guide directs people to set up the secrets file. Okay. I think those two changes will need to be made on this one, like some kind of solution so that the example can work with Adafruit.io. Right now, I think I'm in favor of just defaulting 1883 back to where it would be false for SSL if you use that port, which that would serve as a fix to the example. The other possible fix would be adding as SSL false, which is what I did to get it to run here. Not like wholesale opposed to that. I'm definitely open to input from other folks, including the author of this PR, but I think right now, in my mind, it's better if we don't have to change the examples, and instead if we just have 1883 be the sort of like one special case port where if you select that port, then it's understood that it will default to SSL false. And then this has to change either way, because as is right now, false just doesn't work. It doesn't get set, and then that variable doesn't exist. That field or property or whatever, the thing on site itself doesn't work because you never got created if it was false. Handler for logging. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of the holy grails, I think. Sometimes I have trouble wrapping my head around the red greens with these. Get tripped up by it. So it used to be a compound one with and. Logger is not none and port is TLS port. Then it would have said this stuff. Elif logger is not done. So basically, if the second half of this was not true, but the first half of it was, then it would have gone in here and did insecure. Okay, and so new logic is if port is TLS port. I almost feel like we have the same problem as what is the other PR is solving, right? This is basically, by basing it on the port, it's making it so that, well, in this case, it's not actually doing any heavy lifting in here. But it would print the wrong thing, basically, like if you wanted to use a different port with TLS, then it would still print insecure. Unclear to me if you could make it actually do TLS or not. It depends on how the other PR merges into this one. It's a init logger. Hey. Hello, buddy. Handler juggling? An M0. I think there's not a lot of M0 with internet access, truthfully. Because the ESP32 SPI stuff tends to be all on M4s. Like, the only thing I could think of is if you had a Feather M0 Express and an Airlift Featherwing. In which case, yeah, it may not fit. I would not necessarily be surprised either one or the other didn't fit by themselves. I mean, I would kind of like it if the user could choose not to have this, right? If they don't need it at all. I mean, I did just delete logging from my library, or I mean from my device, because it was one of the larger file sizes that I saw while I was looking for stuff to delete. I don't really know what they mean by the handler juggling. Is there any reason to think that importing specifically the null handler directly would use less RAM? Actually, know if it works that way. Well, okay, we're doing more stuff though, right? We have logging, get logger. We have to have, yeah. Okay. What is logging? Does it say import as logging or? Okay. Given that enable logger has the flexibility of specifying the logging package. Log package. Disable logger. I don't get the, I guess I don't get the handler as opposed to handler juggling, which may not be a good idea anyway, as multiple log packages can be used simultaneously. Loggers are switched, as opposed to handler juggling. I don't get what that means by handler juggling. That's set level. I don't think I understand the functional difference enough. I think my initial instinct is like, I think it's better to just not import it. I think it's better to save the RAM. Since the behavior is not going to change either way, I don't see what the upside is to using the null handler. But I feel like there's something I'm missing in this. Okay, I think I need more clarification there. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. We would still want to test it out for sure, but I do remember actually testing the null handler not too long ago, and I remember seeing that it doesn't log stuff, and I kind of follow the behavior that we would end up with is the same, but I'm not sure. I don't quite understand where the upside is. Like, what does it make better? What do we get for the trade-off of the additional dependency and the additional RAM to import it? If it's like, if it's easier for some reason or another, or if there's something that it does better that I'm just not understanding, or if there is some risk that I'm not understanding to do with the handle or juggling or whatever they were talking about with that. Like if there's some risk of like mishandling it in some way, and this is mitigating that risk by setting it to the null one, that could be a good reason to include it. But I don't know. I don't know hardly anything at all about it, and definitely don't know enough about it to be able to judge like what that risk would be, or if that risk is there, or what it, how it kind of shakes out exactly. Nice. This one, exponential backoff for reconnect. Temporary error exception. This is where I find it hard to follow sometimes. It's like, so it makes it feel like this didn't have connect before, kind of, but it really did. It's just like it starts here. Now that's underscore. So I guess the retry. Okay, I see now. So this function has kind of the retry loop and logic inside of it. Recompute connect back off. Oh, I should have mentioned one more thing. Oops, one more thing I should have mentioned on this one is that as far as M0s, I suspect I don't think I have an M0 that I could hook up an airlift to. Okay. So I'm definitely pro backoffs. A quick look in the logic here. So if I greater than 0, back off. False, true, true. So it's basically choosing which error type to set the back off. Okay. BRB. In the live broadcast, maybe? How's it going, DJ Devin? Missed the stream this morning? Oh. The tunes go. Oh. This kind of boils even randomness a little bit. Interesting. Sub-second jitter. So I think I'm pretty pro that. Nothing really jumps out to me problematic in the code. Like I said, I sometimes find it hard to follow the red-green, but I mean, the logic here pretty much is making sense to me. It's going to be doing the loop now. Kind of, hey, stop. Gotta corral the cat. And then based on the error type, it's basically deciding whether or not it will back off or not. If it's gonna back off, then it ends up using a longer time, essentially. Based on reconnect timeout. Probably gets set somewhere inside of these. Oops. I want my gloves back. BRB. Almost ready for putting the hoodie back on. Hold all of a sudden. That's pasted. This is the new one. We should still be on simple test pretty much. Now let's recopy simple test. I think I only changed the one thing, but let's recopy it just so they're not at risk of cross-contaminating the test, so to speak, like trying to test specifically this one now, so I don't want to definitely get something mixed in from the other one. We are on a random build, I guess. The GIF build, technically. Subak failure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, honestly, I almost want to... I mean, this is like totally separate issue. I almost think we should swap these. In my case, I don't have temperature anyway, I guess, though, so I suppose it doesn't matter, but... I could be making temperature, I guess. Test topic, I'm just going to fill it in. Test topic. Wonder why Subak? What does that mean? Is that the error? Check failure? Seems like kind of a weird error name. Is it not? Is it like... Subscribe, unsubscribe. Like it's one of the messages that gets sent. Server doesn't send Subak. Pooback. Looks like it's just part of the protocol. Must be part of what they're sending back and forth inside there. Interesting. Be nice if we could catch that and be like, double check that your topic is correct. Because in our case, really what that means is like just the topic is wrong. Like you don't, I had it set to a topic that doesn't exist. Maybe we should try catch inside the example code as well. Our second, I'm sure we've actually have only run it twice at this point. I'm surprised we don't have more than that. Third one. I mean, I don't have a great way to like... test the exponential backoff specifically without somehow being able to like make the server fail. Which I wouldn't want to do, obviously, in this case, since it's Adafruit.io server. I want to learn how to make... a Django server? MQTT? I think that's probably a bit more than what we're gonna get into today. I'll be doing that right now. Oh. No, that's not what I want. I want to use a third-party thing. I want my server to be the MQTT server. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to point to some third-party one. Okay. That sounds promising. Yeah. No, this is, no, this is still not quite what we want. This is like using your server as a client to a separate MQTT server. I want to use my Django server as MQTT server. Automatic replay. What is, it's broker? I don't know, part of my problem is I don't really know. I don't know. Mosquito? This is closer to what I'm interested in, running your own server. Okay. That'll be something to dive into a different day. Mosquito, it looks like, is the project for it. Without being able to, like, make it fail, I don't have a great way to test this beyond just running the examples. So far, it's looking good. I'll try the couple. I think there's another one, couple in here. Native networking, Different.io, native networking. Feeds on off in photocell. Photocell, it just gets bigger. We actually don't have photocell either, technically, anymore. I think I deleted it, or on off at least. One of them. Maybe both of them. Oh, I have photocell. Yeah, so on off I guess I deleted. The feed on off. I have on off in photocell. Photocell was last updated 3 months ago. Save this. There's our new value right there. Then on off we would have to, oh, you can't middle click. It probably got deleted since we Block off. I got deleted since we got rid of the feed. We turn that off. There we go. Or on, as the case may be. It'll send that back, and this gets the message on that side. It's good to me. Get it off. Gone. Sub blocking. Test feed. I don't know if I have test feed anymore. Do not currently have test feed. Oh. What? Can I delete one? I guess that one didn't count as deleting because it was already disabled. Oops. Go. Listening for topic changes, test feed. Add data. There it is. This one needs a bit more. I'm going to skip this one for now. It needs different feeds again. Set battery level, groups, device. Looks like it needs a group as well. You know, that should affect the actual connection logic, right? Which is the exponential back off in the connection logic is what this PR was. Probably the one that does the most, like, most robust amount of testing, basically. It's going both ways. One going down from the server and then one going up to the server. And it does just have the 5-second sleep there, so it's not like it's constantly calling. There's always going to be that 5 seconds delay. What you would do in your own code is you would, instead of using a while, like a 5-second sleep like this, if you wanted a tighter loop, you would use a smaller time here. It's basically just turn this into a state machine where, like, if there's no updates, then just nothing happens, but you could continue your other logic, like read sensors or do other stuff, update screens, what have you. Get her off there. Okay. Yeah, it'd be interesting as an exercise someday to be able to run a local server and like take it up and down on command, and then you could have this thing doing its like back off logic and get a better sense of when it's waiting and what it's doing and all that kind of stuff. Without being able to control the server, I don't see how I can influence that. I mean, I guess I could disconnect it from the internet. I can't even necessarily do that very easily, though. I could have to just like take down the Wi-Fi network or something. The best we can do on this one is verify that it's working as expected. So we'll go 7. I think we'll go like 720 middle number, because that's like a relatively new feature. Doesn't necessarily change the API or anything, but changes the behavior. Logic. Okay. If they get back into these ones. Layout earlier. Maybe have a display coming for this to test. It's going to take a while to get here, but some of this one's mine. I need to go back. I think I already got a review on that. Be worth hanging in on some of these and see if there's interest in continuing them, or some closed, or like these ones. I don't think these got handled by one thing here. This got done in a different thing. So this is basically adding the board.stemma. Oh, it does. I guess, yeah, it's not in there. Okay. I was thinking that got done. I guess not. I guess maybe different libraries? I don't know. You see? I don't know what this is. PCF? Sun clock? I wonder why this got removed. I don't know if I have this device. There's something that looks like that. For sure if it's the one. I need hardware to test that one. Pi. This we basically just need to do. I mean, really, we need to kind of do a full Blinka setup. Oh. Basically, we need to set up a Raspberry Pi with Blinka and everything, and then try out these instructions. That's kind of what this one's all about. And I would definitely want to like just set up a new SD card. Mine's got some very ancient Blinka that's all been built up specifically for all the display IO stuff I've done. We definitely could do that. But probably bigger of a task than I'm looking for to dive into right now, but it's got that one requested. Looked into this before. Pressure here. basically needs tested to make sure that it doesn't break anything, let's say. It's got people reporting that it does fix some things, that it allows their hue to work. It's like the hue, I think the Philips light bulb thing. I don't know for sure if it's Philips. I think so, but maybe not. Seems fairly innocuous. And if there's people reporting that it works, I don't have that device, that Philips thing to test. I'm not going to be able to test that, but I can definitely just test this version and make sure that the existing things don't work. Okay, it is Philips. Okay. I think it's none. A lot of network stuff today. It's network day. Sit on one from an old PR. Shelf. Like it changes. We have origin on this one. One, two, three. So none of the behavior on any of these would be expected to change because presumably they do all have content length. Wonder how hard it would be to set up a server to not return content length. This is like super duper basic one. We could maybe just comment out the content length. BRB. Yeah, I run to the restroom again. I deleted requests earlier. The libraries. Oh, wait a minute. Is it really single file one? Are we not on a checkout? Oh, yeah, okay, it's a single file. I don't know. Sure, I was thinking that it was a folder on this one. Okay, all good there. Any others that don't need tokens or anything? I don't know if this was the device that I put all my tokens into. Tested that one. CPython. What I did before? Yeah, I guess so. Multiple cookies. I mean, it's going to turn down multiple cookies. Okay. Theoretically, we got content length ones in there somewhere, I would assume. Maybe that's not a cookie, though. That's a header, I guess. Which cookies are also headers, but... Sample test. That one's for ESP32 SPI, though. So we could maybe use that server. I don't know that I'm like, this has to work in order for me to want to approve or merge the PR. I think I'm pretty happy. Get down from the window, buddy. It's decided it is window jungle gym time. Time to close windows. This is not. Don't. Monster. $80.81. Yeah. It's behind me here on the floor. Theoretically, this could run. Theoretically, we could go localhost 8081 would give us back this, which does not have a content length, actually, which is kind of interesting. Well, but this is the data. The response, the actual, like, the literal raw response data. See, this is the payload, which in this case, the payload happens to look like a request, so it's a bit difficult to draw a distinction. But in the actual raw, literal data, not the payload, does have a content length specified, and it was 666. About them apples. So theoretically, we could just not. No idea if the browser will be happy about this. Seems fine. This changed. I don't know what changed about it. We'd have to look at something. Oh, I like how we're putting our CSRF token out there. That's probably not ideal, but term token, CLIN token, WebStorm token. X. All right, well. So in this one, if we look now, we should be back to not having it, but the browser, I don't know, the browser might just show it anyway, right? Like, it's kind of a weird thing. Browser might just measure it for you. No, it still shows there as 666. Of course, this might not be live, right? I might have to rerun this. In fact, I probably have to rerun this. I don't see any reason why that would just magically update itself. One thing is changing here. Again, I still didn't catch it. I didn't catch what the actual difference. Maybe these are changing and it's making it longer or shorter? I guess that could be. I don't know, it is still showing number there. Does length, what if I, well, if I hard code it, something will break probably. Oh, it's cached. Not actually, if I stopped the server. Okay, unable to connect. Yeah, there we go. I don't know how to do it just right, but we eventually did make it there. So we do now have a response which doesn't have a content length. So the last part of this loop is, can we hit that server from the CircuitPython device? $145, I guess, maybe? Weak. We're going to turn off this. Turn off this. We're going to turn off all of this. Text URL. '81. I don't know if that will need a slash. Okay. Yeah. So we are currently on the version that doesn't have the content length, and it is seemingly working. There's a lot less stuff in it, because CircuitPython sends a lot less stuff to the server, turns out. My computer is sending kind of a lot of stuff, but so that's actually looks like it's going fine. So really the only other thing we could confirm is just like if we were to delete the new version, go back to the released version, then theoretically I would expect this request does not succeed, basically. My goodness, buddy, please stop climbing the window. Hey. Stop. Yeah. See, we don't have, it's... Okay. Cat wrangling. Cat wrangling makes development more difficult, but so it's not actually failing the request, but it is not getting the data. See, it says text response and then there's nothing there, basically, right? Whereas on the new one, buddy, come here. Possibly we can go with the old octopus distraction. Get him back over here, we'll see. Request if we delete it back. There he is. Hey, look, found your friend. Yes, the octopus. Of all of your energies. Energies? Energies? Get it. Good boy. Lib and requests. So we get the actual response. This stuff is what the server sent back. But because the content length wasn't set before, it basically just read 0, I guess. It just took it as essentially 0. Whereas now it actually reads until the end, till it stops receiving stuff, basically. So that seems good to me. I can't test the Philips light like I was saying before, specifically, but we've got a couple of folks saying that it does work on the Philips light, and then we have my test here that shows that it definitely does handle this better when the server does not return a content length. Let me stop this server also, and I just need to randomly run this server forever. Where did we find this thing? Is there like a stars? Yeah, stars. Star it. Boom, starred. Thank you to Shield Wed. Hug report to Shield Wed who 6 years ago shared this gist, which is a super basic HTTP server and allowed us to easily test this. I have no idea how I would have got a server to not send that. That's such like fundamental behavior. Honestly, I'm really surprised the Philips one is like that. I don't recall ever running into anything like that in the wild, before. Seems weird for them to have a server that doesn't return that. I thought that was required, but other than chunked, I guess. Like, chunked, the whole idea is no length, but non-chunked request with no length is like, I wonder if that's actually allowed by the spec. It doesn't really matter. Spec is a suggestion, right? Really, it's like, what do the browsers support? What do the clients support? What do the servers support? Okay, I think I'm probably wrapping it up after that. Oh, just switched back over to the chat as well. Just made the, finished my Logitech C 5510 housing. Nice. Oh, nice, with the wire sticking out the bottom there. Nice. Yeah, that's looking good. I think we go middle number here as well. I think we did middle number on the last one. Much like the roulette wheel, they're unrelated from each other, but I think this is also a middle number because it's new functionality. The API or its new behavior. The API does not change. But there's now a case that gets handled in a better way than it used to. Oh. This is a weird release note. I think we want a different release note. Not weird, it's just different than the ones I'm used to seeing, which are usually copy like this one, for instance. The real life rendering. Made to read until there's no more data. That's kind of wordy, right? I think we could just leave it at that this allows the library. I don't even know. Yeah, I think we just go this allows also, right? This allows the library to be used with Hue Smart Lights and other servers which don't return content length headers. Row P R Y. Go 113.0. Thanks for the stream. MQTT stuff's fun to play with. Webcam will be for the 3D printer. Nice. Yeah, that's always looked convenient to me. The camera on the printer. I went down the road of trying to set up Octoprint once, but I never did get to the cameras. But that was always like one of the things I wanted to do most with it was being able to check on the print like from my computer because my printers are in a different room. Being able to check without like going up the stairs and walking in there. Super nice. All right, we got that one in. It's good to get that one in after a while. I'm glad this just. Oh, did I put the gist? Yeah, I think I did put a link to the gist. Yeah, hug report to that. What's that again? Shield WED. That's right. Yeah, this actually made this super easy to test. Not that much code here either. It's like you think of HTTP as more complex than that. At least I do, I guess. But there's really not all that much to it, I guess. Keep it simple, stupid, as they say, I suppose. Same, yeah. Printer's in a different room. Close that thing in the back of your mind. Yeah, yeah. I won't run it at like some people will run them when they're not home and stuff like that, which I'm not on board with that really at all. Always want to be around, but yeah, in the other room and being able to like have the camera going so you can see, not only if anything goes wrong, but even like non-catastrophically wrong stuff, like it's not sticking to the plate or it popped off the plate or whatever, something. Sometimes it just goes haywire on you. It's nice to be able to see that before you have a giant spaghetti mess, because if it runs for a while by itself, you will eventually have a giant spaghetti mess. Well, yeah, that's true. I've never printed anything that long either. 24, I think, I'm gonna say only like 10 to 12 hours was my longest print. It was basically a thing that fits on one of my big printers that holds the spool for you. Hoping to figure out a way to get the camera to feed mobile device too. I'm pretty sure Octoprint gives you a web front end, and I would assume you would be able to access it from the phone's browser. But I'm not positive. But that would be my guess, is you might not need to do, like once you get the camera hooked up with Octoprint, you might not need to do anything extra. You might just be able to like go in your browser on your mobile phone and pull up, 192.168, whatever the Pi's IP is, and then like whatever /dashboard or whatever the URL is, and then click through and it should show you the camera in there somewhere. Take about 15 to 25 each. Oh dang. Okay. Yeah, you're already like, those are past the longest things I've ever printed. yeah, in that kind of case, it's like just smoke detectors and stuff like that. The camera's cool if you are going to be like out and around the rest of the parts of the house for sure, but you can't really seem practical to sit there and actually like watch it straight up for 24 hours, so got to make do somehow. Alrighty, I'm going to head out for now. Hope everybody has a good rest of your Monday evening. I will be back for sure for the deep dive on Friday. I may, same as usual, I may pop in a couple other nights during the week. We'll just have to see. I do have some other stuff to do this week, so we'll see how it goes in some of the evenings, but definitely Friday for deep dive, if not sooner. Have a good night, everybody, and I will see you next time. Thanks.